Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Collective. We have an awesome show today. I'm very excited because we're going to be doing some actual. I was talking to Yuri last night, and we were saying he asked what the title, what's the topic, and I was like, you know what this is going to be? It's a technique audit. Is that
I like it.
we're going to be looking at techniques. We're going to be looking at some martial arts, and we're going to be talking about it and seeing what's what. So before we get too far into that. Any thoughts on what we're going to be talking about? Any thoughts on martial arts in general while I continue to work on transferring codex and other conversions?
Yeah, yeah. I'll add a little bit of backdrop while you're working on that stuff.
Giver.
So basically, what we've got today is Yuri has a number of videos. I've watched these 2-3 days ago. I made some general commentary on them when Yuri and I were in a live chat over on my Instagram page. And so we made some general commentary, but the difficulty with Instagram live chats is unlike here over at the Collective, where we can show the videos and break it down and have a conversation about it. And I mean, we're not going to solve any mysteries of the universe today. We're just going to be talking about cool videos and martial arts. So the intent is to work through a number of videos that Yuri has that he's taken over the last few years of him training with his guys. And what you're going to see perhaps is some multi-opponent fighting, some knife simulation fighting, some open hand sparring. Going to see perhaps some rudimentary BJJ. Basically, a number of different martial arts styles and a number of different approaches to martial art. And none of the videos today are going to be treated as the only way to do a fight. These are just training styles to better understand how to deal with non-typical or non-traditional martial arts scenarios. So in essence, what you're going to be looking at is perhaps a little more realistic sort of violence scenario training so that we can better discuss the difference between traditional martial arts and what you're going to see in the videos today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yuri, you want to give us a little bit of your background? Tell us, who you are, where you're from, that kind of stuff for anybody that doesn't know who you are.
Hello to everybody. My name is Yuri. I'm from Ukraine. And first of all, I want to say that on this video, you don't see a professional martial artist. It's all these guys, and you'll see it. It's just a matter. It's guys who train with me, train on my head, my students, my friends, my brothers. And you don't see the cool things, cool techniques, and etc. We just wanted to do some gathering because if you take part in some competition, for me it looks like you sitting, waiting 8 hours, then go to the tatami or to the mat, to the ring, fight about 9-10 minutes, and then if you lose, you just walk to home. I don't like this thing, so we figured out that very good format is and like Dog Brothers gatherings with their rules, no judge, no referees, no scores. The main thing is to be a friend at the last of this day. So let's see, and yeah.
So what you're going to see, and that's why I like these videos, is it's not professionals. And so if you imagine anyone has seen John Wick 1, John Wick 2, John Wick 3, all of the fighting that you see in John Wick is all constructed fighting. It's all manufactured fighting. It's all
choreographed.
very choreographed, very rehearsed fighting. And you know what? It's fun to watch. It's sexy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it.
Mhm.
My boys like it. Any guy that I know who's into John Wick loves that stuff. But it's not realistic. That's just not how fights work.
Mhm.
And so what you're going to see today in these videos is kind of how fights work, because fights don't occur like this. Hey, let's get a bunch of stuntmen together who are really well trained to pretend to fight, and let's make it look sexy.
Yeah.
How it works in the real world. How it looks is you're facing a guy who's untrained but has a knife, and they're going to come at you, and you've got to figure it out. So that's what you're going to see today is people with some skill, but not professional stuntmen who pretend to fight. You're going to see young teenagers with like two young teenagers attacking an individual, and they have some skills, but not enough skills. So
Mm.
it all plays out kind of like a little wolf pack attacking an individual, just as it would on a street. So don't overlook any of these videos as if that looks amateur. Well, it kind of is, but that's kind of why it's
Definitely.
real. So
Mhm.
please pay attention to the videos and look for movement patterns, and don't try to start breaking it down as, oh, those guys suck. I would have done this, that, and the other thing. No, you wouldn't have. Just watch the videos. Let's learn a thing or two, and let's figure out how to do it better. So with that, maybe we can just put up the first
Yep.
video and see how things are going.
Boom.
Oh,
First
it's
video.
me.
Here we go. There we
Yuri
go.
hanging out against the back wall.
Okay, here we go.
Young and pretty.
Young Yuri. Young Yuri.
So we got, looks
it's
like,
to my
knife
guys.
attacks.
Yeah.
So explain what's going on here. What are we working on?
Well, we'll see now the spare with the knife fighting. As you see, guys have eye protection. By the way, if you trained with some sort of weapon, always wear a
100%.
protection. I remember my karate trainings in early 90s. We have just some little gloves on our hands, and that's all what we have. And now
You had gloves?
I
Luxury.
yeah, and now I wear every type of armor which I can take. I have a helmet, a body armor, an elbow and knee protection, all the things. And knives also very interesting. It's knives from our Israel master. He style named harness.
Now, are those hard rubber or are they soft rubber?
So they soft on the backs of the edge, but he has tough core, so you can block.
Okay, gotcha.
You can block another knife, another weapon, or another hand. So, but not so
doesn't
crisp
sting as much when you get hit with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's
That
run the
makes
tape.
like
Yeah, let's run it.
Okay, well, let's to see. Okay, and okay.
Here we go.
So as you can see, one guy wanna attack, another wants to oppa.
So as you're watching this, anyone who's watching this right now, what you'll see is how they've adopted their stances. They put the knife in the lead hand, and they're starting to more fence. It's more of a fencing in and out and cutting angles. So once you put a blade in your hand and you're fighting a guy with another blade, It then becomes a matter of inches, not just several inches, half an inch, a quarter of an inch. And so you really need to know your distance and your timing, and you need to watch for someone overcommitting or undercommitting so that you can take advantage of that tiny little half-inch advantage that you have.
Yeah, there was a great
Okay.
second there. Give me a come back here. There was a really clean block that I want to get back to that looked really right there. Bang. So it looks like
Yeah.
the guy in the yellow shorts here went for a thrust and aimed high, or at least came high a little bit. And wish I could do slow-mo. There we go. So he went low, comes back high. And as you were talking, Shaun, you were saying that you got to really watch your timing, and when it becomes a bit of a fencing match, this is exactly it.
That's exactly it. But
Yeah,
what someone also needs to pay attention to when you had it in that blocking position, where his hand had checked the other individual's hand there, what people wouldn't see or perhaps think of is when you throw that knife up and that other individual blocks, you don't just take your knife away and reset. What you do is when they block, you then drag your blade down their wrist and basically cut their hand off.
Yep.
And so it's not just a block that he's doing. He set that the individual who's blocking is setting himself up for destruction because he's been very rigid in his approach. The guy in the yellow shorts would effectively cut his outer wrist off.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of the things I've always learned about, or when I started doing any sort of weapons work, was you never win a knife fight. You're gonna get cut. There's almost no situation if you're fighting knife on knife where you're not gonna get cut.
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of how bad it's gonna be.
Exactly. So let's carry this on here.
We have one sentence. When two tigers began to fight, one of these tigers became injured and another was killed.
For sure.
Have been killed. So, and what you see, what I want to say about this pair, look how Spare began. Nobody ran to his opponent with willing to cut his neck or stab his torso. They began to cut the hands because it's most safer way to win the fight. Just cut some fingers with weapons. With enemy's weapon, and you are champion.
Yeah, so, defang the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's carry on. Yeah. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of I think a lot of, you see flashy stuff in like John Wick where they're hand fighting and back and forth, knife, block, and all that stuff. But in reality, it weapon on weapon becomes a fencing match, as you said. A lot of times.
I would say that hit block is very good working on the middle or close distance. But in the fight, as you see, they want to have the most distance on large distance, because you can get an answer and you don't like it.
Yeah.
So if even they very good attack, they always cut the distance. Okay, that's all. So
do you know the one thing that does happen in a fight, if people haven't been in a lot of fights, is the idea that, and you learn this pretty quick in the fight, all of the fancy moves that you got taught, all of the things that take a lot of micro movement, all of the fine movement, that all goes out the window. When you're scrapping, the things that you're gonna do in a fight are the things that you've trained years and years and years. and our basic fundamental movements. The stuff that you see in John Wick, where he's doing this and he's breaking out and he's doing fancy, and now he's doing things with 2 fingers that are really fine movements. That stuff doesn't happen ever. What happens is you smash. You don't do tiny little things. If you've been in the game many years, and you've trained a long time, now all of those gross motor skills that disappear in the stress of the moment, they'll start to open up, and you'll have more fine motor skills. Decade after decade, you'll be able to add a few more fine motor skills in a fight. But in your first 1, 2, 10 years, it's all gross motor skills. It's all big motor skills. It's not 2 little fingers doing John Wick movements. Forget about that.
And I will say that, okay, it's a parser. I would say that all what you see, it's not mimic to the real knife attacking or knife fight in reality. It's the duel, as we talk with Shaun, duel may possible if you had a weapon, your opponent has a weapon, you both know that game began, and you all of you don't want to get caught. You in this environment, you have this play. But if someone of us have red eyes like a bull, just grab a knife and wanted to smash the opponent, you can see the game.
Yeah.
You definitely don't see this game. But we haven't another way to train our skills. Just such sparrings. We have possibility to strike or to cut the real man. So it's for us. It's only for normal individual. It's only way to prepare and develop what you say. And another thing, what I want to say, when you see some little movements, some unpractical, as you may think, moves, you may to figure that they moves, for example, can be done maybe with some protection, with some steel protection, with some plastic protection, maybe not against knife, but against the stick. So you must understand in context of some movements.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, should we get into the next one here?
Yeah, run the next one.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
And another is our grappling. We very bad in grappling.
Of BJJ.
Yeah, a little bit of grappling here.
We have a very big gap into the wrestling at all and in grappling. So in some by these reasons we began to train with this thing. Okay, and
see this.
You see the classic full mount position. And another guy wants to...
For anyone who is unfamiliar with BJJ, the individual in the black and yellow shorts is in what's called top mount, and he's got what is called his hooks in. He's actually grapevining the other opponent's legs, which is pretty uncommon for a high-level player. So obviously the guy in the black and yellow shorts is not hasn't been doing BJJ for a decade. He's got good skills. I've already watched this video, but he should never make these kind of mistakes that you're about to see.
Boom, yeah.
But you know, he's looking to set up a triangle, of course.
Always good.
But again, the idea being that the BJJ that you're watching right now is from someone who has some skill, but it's not a advanced BJJ player, of course.
Yeah,
Of
there's
course.
a few things in here that
But what I do like is that both individuals are being patient.
yeah,
They're I won't say they're cooperating playing a game, but they're being smart and safe with each other and working through the problem. That's for sure.
yeah. He's got he's got the wrong
Very
arm.
interesting.
Got to go to the omoplata on
Wrong
that one.
arm, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all right.
that's all
You know
good.
what? It doesn't matter.
Rather
Wrong
support.
arm, right arm,
Yeah,
can't do BJJ, can do BJJ. The
yeah,
video basically acts as a good example of we've gone from knife fighting, like fencing, to
mhm,
now you're on the ground, and it's a completely different game, which is what martial arts are all about. It's
yeah.
a multifaceted sport that offers a lot of unique challenges.
I have there's a point here that I wanted to highlight when he had his grapevines in. This happens quite often, actually, in when you have someone who isn't doesn't have the experience in
Yeah,
BJJ,
it's a
especially,
beginner.
is they flatten the body out. Right, they try and put their whole body weight onto a particular position. I'm just trying to find that one spot here.
Yeah, he stretched himself out like a log with
Yeah,
grapevines in,
exactly.
which is like a giveaway to get rolled. So
And then, yeah, as soon as you have your weight off the mat, that's when he gets rolled
Вот
over,
не
which is
получается
exactly
сделать,
what
не?
happened. So
so yeah, the guy on top is making some fundamental like
yeah, there
rookie
we go.
mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But
Yep,
here's the reality.
this
What
happens.
he's doing is effectively controlling the person on the bottom because the person on the bottom isn't an advanced BJJ player, and that's okay.
Exactly. Yep, that works.
Anyone
Yep.
who's watching this who hasn't done any BJJ should be looking at this thinking, wow, those two guys could kick my ass because they
Mm,
could,
yeah.
because they've got enough BJJ that they'd sort you out easily.
Yep.
But from my perspective of 7 years of BJJ, I see a bunch of flaws in here, but it doesn't matter
Nope.
because there's lots of people who see lots of flaws in my game, but at 7 years in, and then these guys will say they're a year in or 2 years in or whatever, that amount of BJJ that they've got right now will take care of anyone on the sidewalk.
100%. Yeah. I
So
just wanted to.
another thing,
Yeah, go for it, Yuri.
okay. I wanna say that we have some concept that you can't just lay, even if you on top, you can't just lay on your opponent. You must seek for submission
Must work.
or armbar or to get up. So maybe in another environment and with another rules, the guys they are not professional at all as I see, but
No. But when I watched this a couple of nights ago, I saw this point here, this exact moment where the top player has grapevined the legs and is putting all of his weight on the other player. Here's
Mhm.
what I thought. On the street, the guy in the black and yellow shorts would have owned that sidewalk because he's going to control that other guy all day long if that other guy has got no skills. And anyone who hasn't been in the position of the guy who's wearing the gray shirt, the guy with his back on the mats, if you've never been in that position, you can't even begin to imagine how
It
bad it
sucks.
sucks.
It sucks so
It
much.
sucks so bad
Yeah.
that you don't
yeah,
even you couldn't even spell the word bad.
Yep.
It's that bad. And so
it,
if you're new to the game and someone locks you down like that, you'll be scared. You'll
Mhm.
panic
Yep.
if you have no skills. So watching this, you got to understand that the top player, the guy in the black and yellow shorts, he would be crushing the other person on the bottom. And then if that other person on the bottom starts making a fuss, the guy on top can like sit up a little bit and smash with
Mhm.
elbows easily and change your
Easily.
day. Like if you think you're panicking in this position, you should see how panic feels when the other guy rises up and smashes you in
Just
the
starts.
bridge of the nose with an elbow
Oh yeah.
and then lays back on top of you and
Yep.
suffocates you until you just literally want to be anywhere else but there. So, when you're watching this, it might look like no big deal, but on the bottom, it's terrible.
Yeah, well, the reason I wanted to highlight this particular situation is that I do something similar to this to the white belts when they're ready for it when we're training. And what I do is I put my chest right over top of their face, and I do it to elicit a reaction because I want them to be calm under that situation. So I'm not saying that I suffocate them by any means, but I put my chest on them so that they can panic. And I've had people tap from this position, it's not a big deal. It happens all the time. I've tapped from being on the bottom of this position. But it is a really great position to push your boundaries and to be able to push your the level of fear that you can manage effectively, because you're not in, on the mats, you're not in any real danger. In real life, this is a bad position, as you said, to be on the
it's
ground.
so
This is a bad position to be in. But if you can be there on the mats when you're training, and you can have someone put the whole weight onto your face, and you can do that in a safe environment, you can push your boundaries a little bit. You can get more comfortable with the feeling of claustrophobia that it ensues. You can get more comfortable with the lack of oxygen that ensues. You can get more comfortable with just sitting there and going, okay, now what do I do? So I wanted to highlight this position
100%.
because this happens a lot, and it is it sucks to be under. It feels pretty. It's an amazingly powerful position when you're on top too. You feel very
but it
powerful.
doesn't look like anything on video.
Doesn't
And
really look
so
like that.
if you're watching this video, now imagine how horrifically suck it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. If only we could get a camera in here. We'll put a head cam on him next time you're in. We'll see how it's like, just like all of a sudden the chest.
All right, let
should
it
we move
roll,
on?
or is
And
that it?
Yeah, let's move on to.
I
You guys want to move on, or what do you got, Yuri?
Yeah.
okay. I wanna say that if you want to see the real power of BJJ and grappling and parser, you must to see the first UFC championships. Really, first 4 or 5, and you'll see that many guys with probably good. I won't see the say that there was the best strikers in the world in USA, but pretty good striking masters.
Good enough.
They can't do nothing against Gracie, BJJ, and another guys. So
Yeah, for sure.
with this, for these reasons, we'll study to practice grappling. In Filipino martial arts, there are no some grappling techniques, but even if you will in fight just standing up and take a distance, you must know how to deal with someone who sit on your stomach or chest.
Oh yeah, it's so demoralizing if you've never experienced it. It's hard to understand if you've never been locked down and not even be able to move a millimeter and feel like you're dying under the crushing weight of a Mack truck while you can't breathe. Well, now you're starting to understand what it feels like with a good BJJ player locking you down. It's hellacious.
It really is.
And anyone out there who's never felt it, who's thinking like, yeah, whatever, pal. Yeah, I'm a tough guy. I wouldn't feel that way. Yeah, you would. And the only thing that you might not do is vomit. But let's not rule that out either.
That can very well happen. Yeah.
Especially with guys who bigger than you on 20 kilograms.
Oh it's hard on their head.
Yeah, it really is, and it, as you said, demoralizing when you get when you think
and
you can
eye-opening. By the way, all you tough guys.
And
you need your eyes opened is what you need.
It's a superpower. Like to be able to control someone like that.
It's magical.
Superpower, and it's awesome. All right, so we got the next one loaded up here. This looks to be some boxing, some stand-up.
Boxing, yeah. It's me and my trainer Andrei Chertkov. Very good guy. a really high level master in Filipino martial arts. He also trainer in Taekwondo. So
when everyone's watching this video, what I want you to do is watch Yuri's left elbow. And so what he's going to do, he's going to do standard issue, stand up fighting, etc. But when he's blocking fight or blocking punches and etc., watch his movement pattern with his left elbow and how he inverts his elbow up by his head to act as a shield or to shrug off, roll that shoulder against punches. So again, if you're going to watch for any detail, watch Yuri's left elbow.
All right, let's see it. Okay. Ooh. Interesting.
So I'm flying like a bee and striking like a
float like
finger.
a butterfly, sting like a Yuri.
Yeah.
And so while everyone's watching the technique, what you should also be considering is, hey, you just stepped out of a subway station and the guy who's tall and slim and a bit balding with the blue gloves, now he's walking towards you and he's yelling at you. And you should be able to look at a person and understand their body language and determine skilled or unskilled. And you can see before this guy threw his first punch, the guy with the blue gloves, you should have been able to see skilled just by micro movements on how he stood before he threw.
That composure right off the bat.
Be looking for talent before you decide what's going to happen next.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. That left elbow comes up quite a bit to deflect and
creating a shield.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like
And like in
Go ahead, Yuri.
like in knife fighting, we'll see that nobody just run to the opponent. You just looking for a moment to have ability to strike and get strike back.
Yeah.
So, and as you see, by the way, you can see that I have elbow protection, knee protection, leg protection.
He went for a cheeky little back elbow there, hey?
That's all.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
Andre is very good.
I really like the fact that when you're throwing that right, it coming right back in as a, no matter what, you throw that right, it comes right back into your guard position there. I really like that. It's
do you know how to get better at that? I taught my boys how to do that when they were about 4 or 5 years old, when I was teaching them to do Muay Thai. And I'd get them to do this. They'd be in their stance, and if their hands were dropping, I get that I'm going to have to take off my headphones to show this.
Okay. I'll zoom you in so we can
get them to stance up and grab their earlobes and tuck their elbows in. And from there, then I would start in several months, and they could hold their hands here. So in order to get their hands back in place, I would have them throw jab, cross, hook, whatever, uppercut, doesn't matter, jab, cross. On their jab and their cross, their hand would have to come straight back to their earlobe.
I like that. That's a good way to do
nice
it.
Nice technique.
It worked for my boys when they were little kids. They didn't need to know why. They didn't need to know what a tight defensive structure is. They didn't need to know any of these things. They just need to know this. Move your hand out as fast as a snake, and then move your hand back to your earlobe and pinch it faster than you put your snake punch out. So it was go out fast, come back faster. Grab your earlobe. Let's do that for a year, boys.
Yeah, but again, for guys who didn't have some big spares, you know that you must keep your hands to your face. But when you're tired, your hands became to get down, 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 down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
with another way, if you see, it sometime I open my stance, make some window for attacks from my partner, but I definitely know in which way, with which angle, and with which strike, and on which part of my body became his strike. So I
Yeah, you're
provocate.
setting up a trap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's name traps. Yeah.
All right, should we
So,
move on to the
and-
next one here,
Yeah,
or do
yeah.
you want? Okay, let me load it up
Okay.
here. We got
No problem.
looks like some blade work. All right, here we go.
Oh no, it's on sticks. It's not like uh, blades, but like on sticks. So we can see a lot of strikes, and yeah. In some kind of spares we use also kicks and punches, but with no protection. This guy spares only on sticks. And as you see, another guy with green. When someone step forward with his empty hand, he definitely wants to attack. Because in this thing, they want to grab your weapon and begin to attack. So maybe nothing interesting, maybe nothing new. What you will see, but guys in gray shirt is about, I believe, 15 years, and opposite guy is about 20 years. So there is more challenging with guy in t-shirt, gray t-shirt. But
he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yep. And as you see on which on 5 seconds you have some catching your stick. So when you think that you will just hitting the man, probably in some situation he just grab your weapon. And what you gonna do next?
You know
If
what
you don't train with the thing,
when I watch this video, I watch the black t-shirt guy, the older guy, getting not frustrated, but trying to almost teach the younger guy a lesson. And you can tell that by the way he's swinging. So if he was staying skilled and unemotional and being effective and efficient, his movements wouldn't be exaggerated. His stick swings wouldn't go as wide an arc as they are. As the video unfolds, as we get towards the end of the video, you'll see his strikes move from tight and technical to wide and hard striking, because as I see it, he's kind of, trying to make a bit of a statement, as
it's
were.
right here when he changes stance
When he
from
changes stance,
lead
that's
leg
right.
to rear leg, he
That's
starts going
right.
for the haymakers and stuff.
Correct,
Yeah,
he does. Yeah.
right here.
Now he's going to teach the kid a lesson.
Yeah. Now he's trying to
He's really trying, and he's overextending. You can
Oh, yeah.
see his back foot is off the ground when he's making swings. He's off balance, and he's overcommitting, as I see it.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's getting a bit emotional, but definitely he's trying to swing for the fences towards the end.
Right here.
Yeah. It's not technical. Well, it's technical, but it's he was better at the start of the video.
He definitely was, and he's stepping in way in deep into.
He's committing. He's trying to take care of that business.
Yeah, he is. But it makes sense too, because this is a good point, is that as a fight progresses, regardless of what you're using, if what you're trying to do isn't working, it's going to be frustrating. There's going to be that temptation to just start wailing, giving power, giving energy. And it
for sure.
It's something you really have
to
watch.
Go bigger.
Exactly. Go harder. Yeah. But that's a great demonstration in the fact that the guy in the gray shirt there, he maintained composure through most of it. He was getting getting hit a bit, but he just
Yeah.
kept working, kept being calm, and you can definitely see that.
And
I
I'm not. I
I'll
don't want
say
to say that
you
the guy in the black T-shirt was acting out, or I'm not going to say that he was showboating. I'm not saying that. All I'll say is this: that at the start of the video, he was, moving his legs, getting his little movements on before the first swing, and like it's it's a confident guy
Yeah.
who's flaring out a little bit, showing a bit of pizzazz.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's cool. That's fun. But if you're starting to believe in yourself, if you're believing in your own hype, if your style is now the style,
Yeah.
well, now you're losing sight of things.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. All right.
He could be the best dude in the world. That's not what I'm saying. This is just
no,
what I
it's
see.
not about that.
Yeah. And it's a
Vitalik,
good thing to be
very
aware.
nice guy.
Go ahead, Urij.
Okay, Vitaly is very nice guy, but fortunately, this man, I like this sentence. Most of people don't have 15 years education in martial arts. They have 15 times education on 1 year. Because if you study martial arts, then have some break. We begin from the beginning, almost from the
Begin
beginning.
again.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump another one in here. I think I got one more here.
I'd love to see that one where fighting multi-opponent with blades.
No.
That'd be great.
We must. The next one will about blades, and you will see the difference between blade and stick. I want.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This
Two
one's
guys.
good.
This is they understanding that it's blades, not stick. And now to see the movement and the distance and tactics of these two guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's see it. Let's see what we got.
And one of these guys now serving in special forces in Ukraine.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot more hesitance. The moment you have a blade, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah,
for good reason.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you can see the difference in the stances. That tighter stance, that lead hand, they're keeping their blades a little tighter, elbows tighter to the ribs. They're not overextending themselves until they have to make a move. So
trying to own that center line. Yeah.
And this thing is weight like an really blades, so they're not too light. These have some weight and some inertia. So the movements with this thing are and okay, and you definitely have.
Oh yeah.
Even
I've done that myself.
Yeah.
Even with blades, you have even with blades you have something which became you to the grappling, and this thing a lot. I will show in another day. I show a lot of European martial arts and a lot of jiu-jitsu guys from Japan, from China. They study how to grapple with the weapon, with the edged weapon.
That's what I did in military combatives. That overhook or that wrap to cinch their arm and straight down to a reap or trip. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, that was really nice.
By the way, if you wanna, it's the same. If you wanna to deal something with empty hand against weapon, you must to go to the grappling.
Yeah, great.
On some time in some situation, but it's definitely be a grappling. That's why I
Yeah,
think
if
that
you can't run away, you need to connect.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep. Get
why I
closer.
think that that grappling and parser is better for military or for police units
Yeah,
to study
agreed.
Yeah.
mostly than striking techniques, because if you have weapon you will strike with your weapon, with your empty assault rifle, with your knife,
Yeah,
and
totally.
things like that. Okay, and you see the back hook, classic techniques.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. That's some good work.
Okay,
It's I always say, one of the things that a reason I put my boys into jujitsu first right away, because they wanted to do Muay Thai. They were like, "Ooh, yeah, let's do Muay Thai," because you get to punch and kick and run around, and it's all a bit more kinetic. But I would rather have a solid foundation in grappling and then add on striking and anything else, because grappling it's much more likely to engage when you hit a street fight or everyday, schoolyard bully or whatever. Grappling happens a lot
it's the
more
main
often than
thing.
Well, certainly,
Well,
if anyone's thinking about putting their kids in martial arts, what are they going to face the most in elementary school and high school is grabbing each other,
yep,
grappling.
yep,
Now, once they get out of high school, okay, maybe now they're on the street walking down the sidewalk, and now maybe they're in an inner core city and someone is pulling a knife on them, etc. Okay, well that's an entirely different thing. But
yep,
when your kids are 6 or 7 years old or 9 or 10 years old, put them in grappling.
100%. And really, I was
I
telling my you
and
go
of
ahead, Yuri.
course Muay Thai, and of
Muay Thai.
course etc.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's all the
Skill
martial
stack,
arts,
just
of
add it on. Yep,
course, but if
yep.
you can only choose one, when your kid's 6 and 7 years old, put them in grappling for now.
Yeah, I agree. I
I I also go through the martial arts also in this way. Before I go to karate, I'll study sambo grappling, sambo style wrestling. So I
Mhm.
agree with you, but what chance, the main sort of chance, what would you like your child to have some problems with another child? Do you like that your child hit him to the head with his kick, and or you just want your child just grapple another guy, felt him down, and in in the kids world it's the same, but with some after that scenarios, it's better to be grappling guy.
Yeah, I was telling my students this a little bit ago was, if somebody pulls up, like steps up in front of you and they go like this, "Are you in a fight yet?" And they were like, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "No, you're not. If you got an exit, man, you're not in a fight at all, right? Just run, just leave, walk away. You're not in a fight." When they actually grab a hold of you, if they get your jacket or get your shirt or get your whatever, now you're in a fight. And if you have the skill set in BJJ or wrestling or sambo or catch wrestling or whatever, some sort of grappling, pancrase, whatever it is, uh, you're going to have the upper hand, and that's what you want when it comes to a fight, is to have the upper hand. At least in my mind, that's what I was
I
going
would
with.
say this, that and we're talking about elementary school kids or high
Hmm.
school kids as an example. We're not talking about adults right now,
Yeah,
though it can apply to adults.
yeah,
But right now, I'm generally directing this at high school, elementary age kids. The fight, the fight starts before this happens.
oh yeah,
There's a phase before that. It's called the verbal interaction,
hmm,
and you can verbally de-escalate the fight before anyone has to clench their fists and raise them up and adopt a fighting stance. So
true,
verbal de-escalation is where the fight starts. And
agree,
so you can shape the next 60 seconds in front of you by using verbal Jedi mind tricks and Jedi mind tricking the individual in front of you to apologize before the fight starts or whatever.
Yep.
And so kids should be taught to communicate in those moments so that they're setting boundaries already. And you can teach your kids, and this is not directed at Chance because I know he's got a handle on this. I'm just saying that if you're thinking about what your kids can say, they can say this: stop. I don't want to fight. I don't know why you're doing this. Can you just stop? I'm going to walk away. Please don't do anything dumb.
Yeah.
Make everyone aware around you that you don't want to fight. Make the individual in front of you aware that you don't want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And if they then become aggressive, you can then verbally state, listen, I don't want to fight, but if we're going to engage in a fight, you initiated it, not me. So you've got to start making the other individual aware that there are choices being made. They have to own those choices. A fight shouldn't be a raw emotional escalation without any verbal discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're kids.
Yeah.
Now, if you're adults, of course, it can go raw violence in a split second.
Yep.
I'm not suggesting that that doesn't happen. Of course it does. But as kids, that's not common.
Mm-hmm.
Kids usually puff up, yell at each other a lot, and they flare out.
Pokey
they push
chest.
each other, a little
Yeah.
bit of pushing, little bit of nonsense, and it's all a big drama scene for maybe a minute or two because kids just don't understand violence yet, at least not here in North America, typically in the soft, sort of soft high school scenarios where kids aren't constantly getting in violence. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is the case in other countries. I'm not suggesting that this is the case in inner city Detroit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that most North American kids in elementary or high school, fights usually last about 3 seconds, but before those 3 seconds, it's 12 minutes long of pushing each other in the hallway and chirping at each other, which is easy to shut down. You just got to teach your kids how to communicate.
Yeah. There's a big lesson in communication that my professor pointed out to me, actually. Sorry, Yuri, I'll get to you 1 second here. Is when dealing with, especially BJJ, if you're in a control position, the point he brought up with adults is that if something does happen, the crowd or the rest of the people, they see what happens next, right? They rarely see that first punch or that first push or that first whatever. What they're going to see is you throwing the dude over and him hitting the ground. And now you're knee on belly or you're in mount. And all of a sudden you're the aggressor. And so what his point was is that you have to communicate through that, right? Hey, what is your problem? Don't poke me. I don't like that. Like, you have to, and make it loud enough so that people start looking at you, so that when if an engagement does happen, you're not the aggressor all of a sudden. Because if you're in a crowd,
you
or
have
a bar,
to constantly
whatever,
verbally communicate,
absolutely,
not for yourself or the person that you're locking down, but for all of the cameras that are around you filming it. It's what I used to teach at the Ontario Police College when I got out of JTF2. It was to verbally, out loud state, please stop doing that or you're going to hurt yourself.
Yes, that's
please
the key
stop
one.
resisting. I'm trying to keep you safe. You're not acting in a safe manner. You're hurting yourself by acting unsafe. Please stop. You've just got to verbally let everyone around you know that the actions of the other individual are creating the problem, and you're trying to protect them from creating problems for themselves.
Yeah. Yuri had a point.
So I have say two thoughts. First of all, we don't call that section or BJJ or some type of grappling is better than some type of striking martial arts. If you have no choice, you have ability just take your child to traditional karate or taekwondo. Is no doves. You just the main thing was coach, the instructor. It main much better, much have much more weight than the type of martial arts. But in ideal world, we would say in ideal words, yeah, it's better that little kids started to teaching the grappling. Second thing, when you say about how to do, well, yeah, I totally agree with you. But did John Wick have some these doings or walls about what you talking about? Not.
Well, I
He
mean,
just
John Wick is fighting assassins, and he's killing 100 of them in about 90 seconds. So it's a whole different
yes,
thing.
A bit of a different
yeah,
thing.
but child watching these type of movies, he see these types of heroes. You I think that is it's a really big problem because
It
we
is.
don't see we don't see real fight now, and in what type of information little kid mostly involved, what he'll see into a movie about witnesses. There was sentence about witnesses. Well, I 10 years spent as in a court. I would see that witnesses never, I say again, never see the whole picture. Never. I see. Trust me. I be in a lot of discussion about the killing on and other crimes. We haven't the really clear picture from one witness who see it on his own eyes. Never.
But today, it's different because here, well, at least here in North America, it's different because everyone's got a camera.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
now there are 50 witnesses. And there's if you say something dumb in a violent occurrence, well, whatever you said that was dumb is now witnessed by 50 cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so there's no evading that. There's no ducking that. There's no pretending that you didn't do something dumb. If you did something dumb, now it's in a court of law as evidenced by 50 cameras, not just eyewitnesses, but digital witnesses. And
And
so
very good
and here
that
in
in
North
my
America,
childhood we
it's
have
a
on this
problem.
camera.
You need to be smart, and I mean you need to be smart and not get in violent confrontations.
Yeah.
But if you are in a
Yeah.
violent confrontation, you need to make not only the person that you're taking care of understand that they should stop or they're going to hurt themselves. Everyone around you has to be aware of that as well.
Yeah. One of the
You
big
know,
things. Oh, go ahead, Yuri.
when I have my shotgun as a civil person, guy who I have some exam about that, and this guy is not older uncle policeman, older guy, and he say to me, when you shoot in real person, it change your life. And I am young guy say, well, I know all laws. I never shoot not in some crime. He say, you don't understand me. If you shoot in a real man, in real individual, it's change your life. And he was right
Yeah,
because of
100%.
yeah, and by the way, in a fight, that's the same thing.
Yep.
same thing. Same thing.
I can still feel the first time I smashed a guy so hard in the head, like I hit him so hard that I thought I'd killed him. I can still feel that. And you know what? that ain't a great feeling, man. And I've done it a few times. But the first time that I did it, I literally thought, "Oh my God, I think I killed him." Because it's just a certain feeling that you can feel run right up your forearm. And you know when you've hit someone solid. And I mean, when I did that, it was warranted. It was in self-defense. I had to. It was mandatory. There was just no way around it. I had to hit that guy, and I had to hit him hard. And I wish I didn't have to. But like, if you put yourself in a situation where you end up hitting someone, you'll regret it if you hit them that hard that you think you've killed them. And that should be the first time that you think, I never want to have to do that again. If there's another way that I can negotiate a confrontation.
Yeah. I think the key point on all of this is that you should be training, because the more you train, the more control you're going to have, the more skill sets you're going to have, the more tools you're going to be able to call upon, and you'll be able to recognize these situations earlier. Not saying you're going to be able to recognize them and be like, oh, I can get away from it, but you're going to be able to recognize it slightly earlier, unless, of course, it's a blitz attack from the rear. But you'll have tools, because if you don't train and that does happen, you have no tools. I don't care what your mentality is. I don't care if you see red when things go south. No, it don't matter. If it goes down and you got no tools, you're done.
One of the best tools you can get with martial arts is not learning how to fight. It's learning that you don't need to fight.
That's exactly
having the confidence to look at some moron that's standing in front of you and say, dude, you're a moron. And then just walk away.
Yep.
I mean, if you know how to scrap, if you're a confident dude, confidence is your best tool.
100%.
And for young guys, there is another reason. You leave most of your hormones, your chemistry, young chemistry, into the gym, on the mat, on the ring. And when you go to the home, you don't want to any confrontation. You don't want to have some challenges for you. You definitely have it in your gym. So
yeah, it really is. It's one of the things that you get to use that energy, especially as a young man. When you're 18, 19, and you're brimming with energy and you're kind of vibrating in the world, it allows you to focus that, allows you to use that energy.
It's called join the army.
Join the army. That's a great one. You could do it all day long, right? And be like this guy.
Oh, you got energy? I know a way that you can burn off some of that energy.
Yeah. Spend 3 months in Wainwright. That'll do it for you. And Winterstorm says it here, martial arts experience takes the pride out of the situation. And, you and I were talking a little bit ago, Shaun. You showed me this video, and I said it appeals to the, what was the word I used? The vanity of youth.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
And that's what a lot of fighting or, John Wick, it looks awesome. Right? There's a vanity to it. Like, look at how wicked this guy moves around, and and he's taking out assassins left, right, and center.
It's sexy, man.
It's sexy, absolutely. But when you actually start training, you start realizing that doesn't happen, A, and B, it's not sexy.
You know it's not sexy the first time that you get punched so hard in the face that all you see is birds floating around your head.
Yeah. There's nothing quite like the experience of waking up on the concrete. That is something that you don't ever want to experience. And it is a very eye-opening moment.
Waking up is best case scenario.
Best case scenario. That's what I mean. Is like that's good, but it is a horrible experience, and it teaches you quite a bit. So we've been running for just over an hour here now. I really, you know what, Yuri, I can't thank you enough for being here, man. I really appreciate you joining in and sending us those videos, because that was really great. There's lots of great tools there, lots of great information. This has been so much fun. Any final thoughts on martial arts, on training, on butt kicking for the world?
Well, I mean, we've barely scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still a video there that I'd love to see. Not today, of course, where Yuri, where someone is fighting two young men with daggers, so
Mm.
multi-opponent scrapping. So I'd like to see that video sometime in the future. Maybe Yuri has some other videos that he has tucked up his magical sleeve that we could use another time. So
For sure.
this is not over. We
Yeah.
will continue this. This is fun to me.
Oh yeah.
So Yuri, stack up some more videos.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yuri, any thoughts?
so final thoughts here. Yeah, we definitely take a second pass with some another spares. I just thinking what video I'll send to you. I very appreciate to talk with you guys, and as you see, we just starting to watching some white videos about how to two young guys wanted to step one to other with knives and creating so many different topics, so many different thoughts about martial arts as a complex of ideas, complex of thoughts. So I very appreciate to talk to you about that.
It's good to have you here,
Thank
pal.
Yeah, it is 100% our pleasure for being here, man. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I guess that's any other thoughts there, boys, before we
Nope,
go?
I'm all
We can start
finaled
doing-
out.
Finaled out. All right, roger that. So yeah, if there's anything I think anybody can pull from this, it is go train. Your first day. I mean, I'll give you this quick little story before we shut her down.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
106. We're heading for 107 right now. You're the guy who's saying we got to
I know.
end.
I know.
Now you want to tell
And now I got to
stories.
tell stories. Yeah, I got one though.
We'll start it with
And
a
it is-
There
story.
we go.
It's my first day at BJJ. First day
Oh,
at
are
BJJ.
you kidding? You're going to start with that?
No,
So it was my first day in basic training.
No, I got basically I got tied in knots by a 16-year-old girl. And I'm a big dude. And I got tied in knots by a 16-year-old girl. And so it's magic. It is 100% magic, but it is science. So get in there, get training so that you can
No luck,
learn.
just skill.
Oh, here we go. It's all falling apart at the end,
Oh,
Burrows.
it is. I'm losing it. But we should train so that we can learn, so that we can build ourselves, and that we can grow beyond our potential with the collective. We'll talk to y'all later. Chimo.
Chimo.